I think these individuals have basically allowed us to get to Senate Bill 1, mental health parity, and to get to a new facility and to allow us to finally make breakthroughs.
Margaret Gilmore is going home after 65 years in a vault at Oregon State Hospital.
Most folks know the Oregon State Hospital for the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which was filmed here, I believe it was in the 70s. In this room we have the cremains. They're the cremains of approximately 3,600 individuals. And these are individuals who died at the Oregon State Hospital or other institutions here in Oregon, beginning in the early 1900s through 1970.
It's so gripping. We call this the room of the lost souls. I mean, you have to understand, I'm holding the keys or remains of someone who was cremated in 1924. So I think it's best to have the visible. I'd like to have, in a tasteful way, very tastefully done though, very respectful way, because I think we owe that to these individuals. They truly are the first wagon, so to speak, in bringing us to this, where we're going to be and where we're going.
So I had been in the hospital before, and I mean, the conditions are really terrible. And I had students who took rotations through there, and they'd tell you, you know, you walk down through the tunnel and there's little rooms with shackles still on the walls, and we didn't know how to treat them at that point. We didn't have treatments, we didn't have medications, they had lobotomies, you know, and it hasn't been upgraded, it hasn't been updated since then. So I'm sure it was very overwhelming for the legislature in the past to even think about dealing with the hospital. So when this came out, it now becomes this sensational story. You get public interest, and everyone gets up in arms, and how could you, and you know, this is terrible, and you know, you need to do something. And so that kind of gives that little push, that impetus to finally figure out what you're going to do with it.
I'm not afraid to make sure that we film this and document it in every detail and memorialize it and put it in a museum in some way so that all the world can see what went on here and how much we're trying to improve things. And I think it speaks volumes about the state of mental illness in our country as well as our state, and particularly this facility, which is 1883, and as well as the cremains. We have to do that. We can do it right here. This is the area, I think, the part of the building. This is where we're going to remodel this in the museum. This is where it's going to happen, and we can use just this part of the building alone to be an extraordinary draw and statement of history. It'll be one of the great places in Oregon to talk about Oregon's history.